Good day, everyone. I'm Agayashri, and together with my team members, Dania, Jaya, and Kohila Priya, we will be critically reviewing a classroom-based assessment on writing developed by the other group. And the assessment and its rubrics will be analyzed, and each of these aspects, the 12 aspects here, will be discussed in detail throughout the presentation. And as for the brief overview of the classroom-based writing assessment, this classroom-based assessment was developed for Year 6 learners to assess their writing skills, and it is a formative assessment that includes two task formats, which are the sentence construction and also email writing. So next, we will briefly go through the assessment materials developed by the other group. These include the remedial assessment, the intermediate assessment, advanced assessment, their marking scheme, also their sample answers as well.
Next, I will be presenting on task achievement. Task achievement is defined as the extent to which pupils complete the writing task and achieve the intended communicative purpose. Tasks are well sequenced from supported sentence construction to independent email writing, whereby each level requires pupils to fulfill a clear communicative purpose related to the context. For example, telling a friend about camping day. The progression allows pupils to demonstrate increasing ability to produce meaningful written text. This is further supported by Council of Europe and Graham, saying that effective writing assessment should measure learners' ability to achieve communicative purposes and produce meaningful texts. At low level, based on the test items design, pupils write sentences using given words or rearrange sentence strips, demonstrating the ability to complete a simple communicative task with support. At intermediate level, pupils complete an email by filling in the blanks using given information, achieving the purpose of informing a friend about camping day with some guidance. At high level, pupils write a complete email independently based on the given stimulus, demonstrating the ability to achieve the communicative purpose without support. Next, coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion is defined as the clarity and logical organization of ideas and the effective use of cohesive devices to connect sentences and paragraphs. In terms of the test items design, email writing tasks guide pupils to organize the ideas logically using discourse markers. Cohesive devices, for example, firstly, Kodomo, finally support sequencing and coherence. The high-level task requires pupils to independently organize ideas into a coherent email. So based on the test items design at low level, sentence strips arranged using logical sequence. Intermediate level connectors provided with gaps complete. At high level, pupils produce a coherent email independently. This is further supported by Holiday and Hassan and Council of Europe, saying that coherence is achieved through the logical organization of ideas, while cohesion is realized through the use of linguistic connectors and cohesive devices. Next, lexical resource and vocabulary. Lexical resource and vocabulary is defined as the range and accuracy of vocabulary used to express ideas in context. Vocabulary used in tasks is appropriate for year 6 learners and relates to familiar topics and daily life activities. So it is more on topic specific vocabulary, for example, camping equipment, jungle adventure, outdoor cooking, tent pitching is included. So it provides opportunities for wider lexical range and more sophisticated vocabulary are limited, especially at lower levels. For example, sentence construction requires use of action verbs and common Nouns. Email tasks provide vocabulary related to camping trip, for example, activities, places, dates, costs, and etc. High-level tasks allows some freedom for pupils to use their own vocabulary. So from this, we can see that vocabulary assessment should consider the range and accuracy of lexical choices in context. So these are few examples of vocabulary in the text items, like for example, campfire night, jungle adventure, outdoor cooking, tent pitching, activities, places, dates, and costs.
Next, I will critically analyze in terms of grammatical range and also accuracy. All right, as for the sentence construction assessment, for grammatical range at the low level, students construct sentences using given keywords. While suitable for weaker learners, the task mainly elicits simple subject-verb-object patterns, limiting sentence variety and opportunities to demonstrate a wider range of grammar. So to improve this, students could add adjectives, adverbs, and conjunctions to broaden sentence structures. And at the intermediate level, action verbs such as write, fly, and read increase variety. However, students still mainly produce simple present tense sentences, so grammatical range is only moderately assessed. Requiring reasons, time phrases, or compound sentences would increase sentence variety. At the high level, students generate their own ideas, allowing richer vocabulary and varied sentence types. This is the strongest level for assessing grammatical range. So, to strengthen it further, students should be encouraged to use complex sentences and also linking words. In terms of grammatical accuracy at the low level, accuracy is easier because keywords are provided. The task mainly checks word order and basic sentence construction, but subject verb agreement is not assessed explicitly. Therefore, accuracy assessment is limited. To improve this, subject verb agreement checks should be included more explicitly. And at the intermediate level, given verbs support correct sentence formation, but weaknesses in tense control may be hidden. So using different tense requirements would better assess accuracy. And at the high level, independent writing reveals real errors in grammar, punctuation, and also agreement, providing a more authentic measure of accuracy. However, a clear grammar rubric should be included to ensure consistent assessment. Overall, the assessment progresses from control writing at the low level to independent writing at the high level. Grammatical range expands gradually while accuracy becomes more authentically assessed. Next, I will discuss the grammatical range and accuracy in the Year 6 email writing assessment. For grammatical range at the low level, students work with pre-given sentences and mainly rearrange information to form an email. So while this supports weaker learners, it offers very limited opportunities to demonstrate a variety of sentence structures. The focus is on rearranging information rather than generating language. So to improve these, students should be given opportunities to use different sentence types such as questions, compound sentences, and also exclamations. And at the intermediate level, students generate ideas to complete parts of the email, giving them more freedom than at the low level. However, responses are still mostly simple sentences. The task could be improved by encouraging the use of linking words, time phrases, and also compound or complex sentences. And at the high level, students write independently with no language support, providing the greatest opportunity to demonstrate a wide range of vocabulary and also sentence structures. So to strengthen grammatical range further, students should be encouraged to use right sentence openers, relative clauses, and also cohesive devices. Moving on to the grammatical accuracy at the low level, accuracy is easier because more sentences are provided. The assessment mainly checks correct placement and also basic punctuation. So to improve it, capitalization, commas, full stops, and sentence boundaries should be assessed explicitly. And at the intermediate level, students write some parts independently, making errors more visible. Common weaknesses include tense consistency and subject verb agreement. Therefore, these areas should be assessed systematically. At the high level, students write the entire email independently, making this the most authentic level of for assessing accuracy. Errors in grammar, punctuation, spelling, capitalization, and email format can be clearly identified. A clear marking rubric should be used to ensure consistent assessment. So, in conclusion, the assessment progresses from control writing at the low level to independent writing at the high level. So, as students become more independent, they have greater opportunities to demonstrate both grammatical range and also grammatical accuracy in email writing. Next, I will discuss the strength of the assessments. All right. As for the sentence construction assessment at the low level, students are given keywords to help them form sentences. This provides strong support for weaker learners, and it also reduces the difficulty of the task and allows students to focus on basic sentence formation. So it also helps build confidence because students can experience success early in the assessment. And at the intermediate level, students are provided with action verbs and a picture stimulus. This encourages them to generate their own ideas while still receiving guidance. As students have more opportunities to use vocabulary actively, the task also promotes sentence building with greater variety than the low level. And at the high level, students write sentences independently based on a picture. No keywords or language support are provided. So this encourages creativity and allows students to express their own ideas freely. It also develops confidence and also their independence in writing. As for the email writing assessment at the low level, students rearrange given sentence strips to form an email. This helps them understand the structure and organization of an email. The task provides clear guidance and support. As a result, learners can successfully complete an authentic writing task. And at the intermediate level, students complete missing parts of an email using information from the post. This gives them some independence while still providing a framework. Students learn to develop ideas and maintain the flow of information as well. The guided format helps them organize their writing effectively. And at the high level, students write the entire email on their own, and this promotes full independence in writing. And students must organize their ideas clearly and communicate their message effectively. The task also develops awareness of audience purpose and also email conventions. And as for the overall strength, both assessments show a clear progression from supported writing to independent writing, and the level of support decreases gradually as students become more confident. The sentence construction assessment helps students build strong sentence writing foundation, while the email writing assessment allows students to apply these skills in a meaningful real life context. Together, both assessments support the development of confidence, independence, and also effective writing skills.
Okay, next I will continue by presenting the weakness of the assessment. Alright, the first weakness is there are too many drawings that which can increase the cognitive load. So if you look at the assessment, there are too many pictures and overcramping of graphics. Okay, so cognitive load theory explains that learners have limited working memory, where excessive and decorative visuals create extraneous cognitive load. So students may focus on interpreting the pictures rather than the writing task. So this reduces the mental resources available for planning ideas, organizing content, and also constructing accurate sentences. So as a result, performance may reflect visual distraction, not actual writing ability. So Sweller in the year 1988 stated that extraneous visual information can reduce working memory capacity for core tasks. The second weakness that we notice is unclear instructions. So if you look at the instruction, it's just look and write by using the words given. So the phrase look and write is vague and informal. It does not specify what to write, whether a sentence, a description, or a paragraph. So a clearer alternative would be like, look at a picture and write one complete sentence using all the words given. The instruction does not explicitly state how many sentences to write, so one or maybe more. So whether a complete sentence is required or not. So this will affect the task interpretation consistency. Next is the CEFR level misalignment. All right, as you can see, we tested it on the vocab kitchen. It is stated that level A1 is 76%. So although the assessment claims CFR alignment, most task demands remain at A2 and A1 to A2 level. Even in the high level section, the tasks emphasize simple sentence construction, picture description, and template-based writing email. CFR B1 writing requires connected text, idea elaboration, and basic justification of opinions, which are not sufficiently elicited in this assessment. So as a result, this assessment underrepresents B1 writing descriptors and may overestimate people's writing proficiency. Next is the misalignment with the DSKP and the content and learning standard. So this assessment does not align with the Year 6 DSKP writing standard, which requires people to produce connected, meaningful writing tasks, not isolated sentences. All right. So over reliance on sentence level tasks and template based email limits the assessment of idea development, coherence, and independent writing as expected in the DSKP. So this misalignment reduces the content validity and weakens evidence that pupils have achieved in the intended curriculum outcomes. So what are the suggestions to improve the assessment? First is strengthen alignment with the SKP content and learning standards. So the group needs to identify what are the particular learning standard and content standard that is needed. Alright. Secondly is increase the CFR B1 cognitive and linguistic demand. So we can modify the task to require people to express opinions, give reasons, elaborate ideas beyond listing information. Alright. And the third is reduce over scaffolding to promote independent writing. So gradually remove sentence starters, fix discourse markers, and fill in the blanks formats, especially in the high level worksheets. And also allow people to choose their own connectors, vocabulary, and sentence structure. Fourth is improve the task authenticity. So introduce varied real-world writing tasks such as writing a short reflection, giving advice, describing a personal experience. So vary the themes beyond a single topic.
I will be presenting on the strength of the rubric. Let's look on the strengths of the rubric. As what you can see, there is a writing rubric there. Alright, so the first one will be CEFR Aligned Assessment, which is aligned with A1 high, A2 low, and A2 mid proficiency levels. And it also supports standardized assessment practices. Second will be the comprehensive evaluation because it accesses vocabulary, grammar, sentence constructions, task achievement, and mechanics. And third one will be supports learning progression, which enables pupils to progress from basic to proficiency writing levels. There is also clear and reliable assessment. First one, it can be categorized under clear performance descriptors, because it's easy for teachers to understand and apply, and it also promotes consistency in marking. Next is a reliable marking scheme because it includes sample answers and marking examples which reduce assessors' bias. And last one will be the teacher friendly because it simplifies grading and feedback process, and also it saves time and supports effective assessment. Next, we can say there is a differentiated learning and approaches. Because there is a low level A1 high, they have a basic sentence and construction task. For the intermediate level A2 low, they have guided writing with support. And for the third one, high level, which is A2 mid, they have independent writing and ideas development. So the benefit will be inclusive for all proficiency levels because caters to different learning needs and abilities. And also it encourages gradual skill development because it promotes steady improvement step by step. And also supports learner confidence because it helps learners build confidence and achieve success.
Okay, next I'll be explaining about the weaknesses of the rubrics. So if you can see, the first weakness is overemphasis on language accuracy over meaning. So the rubrics prioritize grammar, spelling, and sentence correctness more than meaning and communication. So the impact is that it discourages the risk-taking and does not reflect real writing ability. Alright, second is limited alignment with CFR B1 descriptors. So the descriptors reflect A1 to A2 level instead of B1 expectation. So this does not assess the connected text using linking devices, reasons to explanation as required at B1. Thirdly, is descriptors are vague and non-analytical. So we can use broader terms like good or weak without clear performance indicators. So leads to inconsistent judgment and provides limited feedback to pupils. Fourthly is lack of focus and coherence and cohesion. So it does not assess logical sequencing connectors or paragraph organizations. So the impact is under assesses key writing skills at B1. The fifth weakness is minimal discrimination between levels. So the band focuses on error quantity, not qualitative differences in writing. All right. So the impact is it cannot clearly distinguish between A2 and B1 writers or reward higher complexity. And lastly, the weakness is encourages template-driven responses. So reward structural accuracy, allowing pupils to follow the template without genuine language generation. So the impact, it leads to score inflation and reduces authenticity of the writing. So overall, the rubrics focus too much on accuracy and template and not enough on meaning, coherence, independent language use. So this limits the validity, reliability, and ability to reflect true writing proficiency at CFR B1 and DSKP standards.
So there is suggestions to improve the rubrics. First one, add more detailed descriptors for vocabulary, grammar, coherence, and content development. So we can also include creativity and originality criteria, and also provide separate marks for the content, language accuracy, and organization. So what they will gain is more accurate and informative assessment. And there will be future enhancement as well, which is digital assessment integration, which is we use online marking tools for the faster feedback delivery. And there will be self and peer assessment, which encourage reflections and develops learner autonomy at the same time. And there is also will be real life writing tasks for authentic communication and develop greater student engagement. So this enhanced creates a collaborative, engaging, and effective writing assessment experience for every learner.
Okay, so here are the list of references that we have used.
That is all for our group. Thank you for listening.